Hey everyone, I am sitting down to talk about how to get started on YouTube as a gamer, as a really cool person. As I'm filming this video, I have only been doing YouTube for about 6 months. And I think that I've experienced growth that is realistic for that time span for a gaming-centric YouTube channel. I really went into YouTube expecting nothing because, like many people, I have consumed tons of YouTube videos on how to be a gaming YouTube channel. I had my expectations set very, very low. I thought that I had to make 100 videos, that I was going to make dozens upon dozens of videos before I saw any traction. But in reality, I saw traction right away. It's quite crazy, but I do think that I have things to share that maybe you haven't heard before, and this is coming from a place of still being really near the beginning. So here I go. I'm going to share several tips that I think that you have not heard before, and that I hope will be valuable to you to get started, to help with your mindset. Okay, let's go. Tip number 1, this tip is to do a lowest effort experiment. This is specifically about getting started. So just like you, or just like anyone, I was feeling very intimidated about getting started on YouTube. I was doing streaming on Twitch for several years, and I was feeling comfortable. I was not growing, and actually my viewership was shrinking, and I didn't know what to do. I felt and knew in my head that YouTube was the answer to find growth, but I was scared. I just kept to what I knew, which was Twitch streaming, for way too long. The moment I decided to start my channel was when I bargained with myself very heavily to do something as low effort as possible. So what is the lowest effort thing that you are willing to do? For me, I was intimidated by editing. I know editors, I know how much effort it takes them to put together anything, and I didn't want to be one of those people spending hours on a computer editing while I have a full-time job. In my bargaining with myself, I decided to put up my first video, which you can see. That video was creating a gaming tutorial with no editing at all. I just used OBS, and I did the tutorial, just one clip, and then I posted it, and that was it. What I also did that was very low effort was I used Canva to make a thumbnail, and I just used one of their templates without changing anything. All I did was change the text in the image, and I did nothing else. I didn't know, and maybe you don't know, whether I wanted to make YouTube the thing. Really, I just needed a boost of self-confidence to go, hey, I did it. So if you're intimidated by uploading on YouTube, try to identify what is the thing that's making you scared. Tip 2 is to invest monetarily only when you have made a commitment to the craft. For example, when I started streaming, I bought no equipment. I had no lights. I did have a webcam, and I only had the on-webcam microphone. But I didn't know if I wanted to be a streamer, so I decided to just go live, expecting to have 0 viewers, and to do that on a consistent schedule for a month, and then evaluate whether I even enjoyed streaming with that level alone. And if I did, then I allowed myself to be able to buy nicer equipment. There is a fallacy or distorted idea out there that everyone has, that you want to be the person at the final stage, that you look at the people you admire as top gamers and you want to emulate them. But in reality, what you want to be is what you are, which is small and just getting started. I know somebody who wanted to get really into biking, and so she bought biking gear, she bought the bike clothes, a very expensive bike, and all of the gear that went with that. And then she rode her bike only once and never again. And as you probably heard in other videos, equipment doesn't matter all that much. Though the audio equipment is probably the most important thing that you need to learn. I just have an Elgato microphone, and it works for me just fine, as I hope you think it is fine. Tip number 3 is to always be thinking about the person on the other side of the camera. I guess this is another way of saying serving other people, that being on YouTube is not about you or your personality, especially not to start. Nobody knows who you are, so you can't start there. What you have to start with is value. And in the gaming niche, this can be really hard for people to wrap their minds around. I think that when you want to become a gaming YouTuber, the vision is of playing video games and enjoying video games and having it be a social activity where you're sharing your love of video games with other people. But it's really not like that. It's about what you're doing for other people. One of the easiest ways is to enhance the game for other people. One way of doing that is tutorials. Another way is through video essays, doing analysis, making people think of games in a new way. That's what I enjoy doing most. But generally, gameplay videos I find are really hard to gain traction in the beginning. So in the marketing world, there is a term called inbound and outbound marketing. Inbound marketing is when there is already a need for your product and you don't have to do marketing in order for people to find you, really. People find you rather than you find them. They might search into Google, say that you make shoes. People type into Google the shoes that they like, and your search result may pop up. But if you are making a novel or a movie, nobody knows about your novel or a movie, which means that you have to invest a lot of money in outbound marketing. You have to find creative ways to get yourself in front of people's eyes so that they can realize, oh, that person's very funny, authentic, interesting, or whatever. Inbound marketing is just easier when there is already a demand for the thing. They are looking to have a particular need fulfilled. They will end up finding you. So I know that YouTube is a bit different because it is pushing out thumbnails and titles to people. But they're pushing out these videos based off of people's interest, what they're looking for. And so maybe think about who is on the other side of the camera and what is that person looking for in you. Some ways of discovering this is using Google's autocomplete, also YouTube's autocomplete, or you can even use Google Trends to figure out generally what people are interested in. You can also just do YouTube searches on your own, see for yourself what videos are getting views and what videos aren't. But I honestly don't think too hard about it. And I don't want you to overanalyze, definitely not, especially when it's about just getting started. Tip number 4, realize that what you are doing is work. Now, I've heard this phrase a lot, like, do what you love. You know, as long as you're passionate about it, then that means it's the right thing. The problem is, passion never lasts. I'm not consistent with anything. I can't keep a healthy diet consistently. I can't make my bed consistently. I can barely shower consistently. And I have tons of different interests in literature, in software development. It goes on and on. We are very varied people that varies outside of the topic of the video game. It always is work. Sitting down and recording a video has some level of work to it. And if anyone is going into making YouTube videos purely for fun, then it's way more fun to just go live or to just play with your friends or to just play by yourself. Just enjoy the video game whenever you want, wherever you want. Doing this from the very beginning is always going to be work, and there is always going to be times where you may not feel like doing it. What I would hate to see is that you would think, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this resistance. I should be doing what I love. And it's fine to just go like, look, I'm sitting down to work. I mean, don't hate it. I'm not saying to hate working, but to expect it. To expect that what you're doing is sitting down to do a task like you would maybe wash the dishes. You have to get it done, right? Tip number 5, be extemporaneous in your delivery of your video. I have a video I did not put out where I wrote a script and I read that script aloud and then tried to edit it. But I found that my delivery was so flat that I just scrapped the whole thing. It is really hard to read a script and to have a cadence that is engaging. And so when you record a video, a talking video, what you do is you sit and you talk and you have an idea of what you're going to say, but you don't know how it's going to come out. But it comes across as much more authentic. Now, I am pausing to think a lot, and I am cutting a lot as I'm pausing to think. It is also admittedly lower effort, which means that you could probably make videos at a faster pace than you would if you were scripting your videos. Tip number 6 is a basic one. Just don't look at the viewfinder. Don't look at a preview of your face, which is a very, very easy thing to do if you have a camera set up or anything. Look at the camera and practice looking directly at the camera, because that in itself is quite a skill, and it will feel very uncomfortable in the beginning. There is real acting involved here, well, I'm pretending that I am talking to a real person on the other side there, because I know that the eyes create an authentic connection with another person. Anyway, I know that alone is pretty hard. It's just something that takes practice. And finally, tip number 7, which is, I don't know how to put it. It is essentially to be authentic, but anyone who is inauthentic probably doesn't know that they're inauthentic. So how do you be authentic? That's the question. One is to try not to act like someone else, and to be only yourself. But the reasons that people feel likely like they can't be themselves is because of a lack of self-confidence. I genuinely think that I couldn't have been a YouTuber years ago, that I wasn't sure of myself. I wouldn't have felt comfortable at all with this format. And it is only now that I can come here with this armor too, this strong enough sense of self, and I can be consistent in putting myself out there, not worried that something someone says can shatter me. And I think this can only come from, well, I guess self-work. I really enjoy journaling every day. I think that helps me a lot in getting to know myself. Therapy has also helped me a lot in getting to a sense of self-understanding. And when I say I think I couldn't have done this a few years ago, I do think that I had more attachment issues. When you're on the edge of being inauthentic, you are probably in a point in life where you feel like you need external validation to feel okay. And YouTube is a lot like any other social media platform, and it can be quite insidious. But I do think that because it is more of a long-form platform where we're just talking and having a conversation, people can sense when that YouTuber is being authentic and genuine, and when they might have an insecurity or a neediness or a desire for validation more than actually putting out their ideas. I guess I have a bonus tip too, because I have a friend who says that he would like to start a YouTube channel, but he doesn't know what the right idea is. And their answer to that, which I just feel, which I do not know is helpful, but I'm going to tell you anyway, is who cares? Who cares what your first video is? Make whatever you want to make, because the celebration is that you are starting. The hardest thing to do is to start, is to upload at all. So celebrate that you've uploaded. The topic so does not matter. The game does not matter. I make content on Final Fantasy X, and I have heard, before I even made my first video, that game is 20 years old. Who wants to watch that content? I could have told myself that, and then I would have never made my first video. Oh, that's oversaturated. Or, oh, no one cares about that. That's not timely. There will always be an excuse as to why that topic is not the right one. So just do it. But just do it and have no expectations. Because it's about the upload, not about the outcome. because this is your journey. Take it into your own hands and make of it what you want, because this is a platform for creativity and freedom. Express yourself however you want to express yourself, and that will always be good enough. Anyway, it's been a really great journey so far, and I'm so excited to be here and to potentially be here with you. Most of my content has been on Final Fantasy X and X-2, but I think that we might be doing some other things like Hogwarts Legacy, but mostly we're probably going to be venturing into more Final Fantasy. So if you're interested in that content, then you may like my other videos. And I will see you in the next one, hopefully. Bye!